Agenda, as you can see, with missing a couple of months of meetings. So we have the next four, and I think we need to be really clear. These are procedural items, the plan changes, to make the plan changes operative. We aren't here to discuss or debate the merits of these plan changes. They've gone through their process. We had the ability to do that before it went to a plan change, and then we were able to submit on those plan changes and be involved with those plan changes. All those decisions have been made, and we are now just essentially rubber stamping what we need to do after the process is complete. The staff will go through. So we have plan change 10 first. They're all separate items, so we'll go to plan change 59, Albany 10 precinct to the unitary plan.
Well, I was going to perhaps make a start, Mr. Chair, just by providing an overview, and there's some new members in the committee who may be less familiar with the ways of private plan changes and the process of plan changes generally. So, all on one page. Let's see if it works.
Apologies, Craig. Did you just want to introduce yourself and Todd?
Beg your pardon. Yes,
Craig. That was my fault. Apologies.
All right. Thank you. So, Craig Cairncross, team leader for the South, Celia, John Durgott, and ultimately Megan, under Megan, and the CPO. Okay, stepping back, so Schedule 1 enables plan changes, Schedule 1 of the RMA, and what you're going to have before you in the agenda, as per the Chair's advice, is a number of what we call make operatives, effectively making plan changes operative, that have been through the full process from Waipupuke lodgement, in through requests for further information, a decision like you're going to have to make later in the day around the way to proceed, accept, adopt, reject, and then through notification, hearing, commissioner hearing, and then usually if there's any appeals, mediation, or if necessary, a hearing in the court. By whatever means the decision's reached, the court ends up issuing a consent order, and thereby you get to the orange bubble, which is the ability to make a plan change operative. And as said, there'll be a few of those on the agenda to come. Todd's is first, the next one. Okay, so next slide, Sandra, please. Some of this is quite administrative, and I'm sure Christian and Karina would love it as law, but just the procedural steps. Clause 17 enables the council to approve a plan change once all appeals are settled, and then Clause 28 of Schedule 1 sets out the process that's required to be undertaken for the notification of when you make it operative following the decision to make operative the plan changes. And the last slide, Sandra, please. A lot of administrative detail there, but just to demonstrate the steps required that our planning techs and our department have to go through to get everything ready, to put up online, send letters out, request a seal, so there's both admin and legal steps to follow the make operative. Hence, it's not something you do the next day. It usually takes a good few days and in some cases weeks to get everything ready. That was it. So hopefully that's useful for some of those who aren't so familiar with plan changes and private plan changes in particular. Happy to do questions, although I'm told I'm under.
I think we're fine. Pretty straightforward. Thank you, Craig. And now we'll go to item 10, plan change 59. Thank you very much.
Kia ora. Good afternoon. My name is Todd Alder. I'm a senior policy planner in the Northwestern Islands. I'm here today to go through what Craig just talked about, making the procedural change to make plan change 59 Albany 10 precinct operative. Up on the map is where the plan change is located in Albany. On the right-hand map, it's the site that's outlined in red and is now coloured as terraced housing and apartment building. Next slide, please. Great, so plan change 59 was a plan change lodged by Bay Group Limited. They requested that the site at 473 Albany Highway be changed from mixed housing suburban to terrace housing and apartment buildings and remove Albany 9 precinct from the site. This plan change introduced a new precinct, and the key thing about that precinct, it does enable greater height than the current terraced housing apartment building of 13 metres, 21 metres and 35 metres depending on the site. We have had a decision on the plan change, obviously, to approve with modifications. The plan change was appealed in the Environment Court, and this was recently settled, and now we are ready to make the plan change operative. So the recommendations today is to approve the plan change under Clause 17, to require the Council to notify as soon as possible under Clause 20. There's an additional recommendation to prepare for the staff to prepare a variation to plan change 78. We already had a variation in the past to plan change 59, but since this plan change went to appeal, we had two running simultaneously, and when we got a decision from the court, we couldn't proceed. So we had to withdraw the one that was out there and make this operative, and then do another variation. So that is simply it. Thank you.
Simply it. Thank you, Todd. Very complex, a whole lot of work done here. Now, do we have any brief questions on the making it operative? We're not asking questions on the merits of the plan change. Councillor Watson.
Just a quick one. Could you just remind me how many stories 35 metres is? That in your...
I believe it is 10 stories. 10 to 11.
Yeah, okay.
With a lift shaft.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. No other questions? Could I have... Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. No. Member Ashby.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick question or point of advice, perhaps for further plan changes as you're preparing these. It's just noting with these procedural decisions, the Māori impact statement is quite brief, and this applies to some of the other plan changes. So this comment applies to other agenda items. So it's really just a comment around in future reporting, would it be possible to provide a summary of those relevant matters based on previous agenda reports or Environment Court decisions or the like, just so that we're perhaps a little better informed in terms of some of the context of those Māori interests in this space in this instance, but again applying to other items on the agenda. So it's just a comment. Kia ora.
Might we circumvent a lot of this discussion by us at the OMSB producing what we would consider to be the impact statement that you might like to work off from now on. It just makes it a hell of a lot easier. We don't get it. We don't have to go through all these questions every planning committee, you know. So, and we would bring it back here for approval of the committee, and then we can see where we're going to go from here.
Thank you, Member Henare. And I would love to do that, and I would think that would be well supported by staff to sit down for the term and ensure, because there was really good times, thorough times, and then other times where that fell short. And I think Councillor Dalton, we've already talked about that. And the issue with this first agenda item, as we saw it on Monday, we didn't have access due to the time swearing in and positions. But going forward, we will have a lot more time to see that those early papers and also ensure that to happen. So maybe not. We might not be able to do that for the February one, but I'm definitely keen from that point on to have a thorough kind of agreement on what is expected and what we would prefer sitting across that for Mana Whenua, Mātāwaka and IMSB. Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Ferry.
I was just offering to move.
Thank you, Councillor Ferry. Could I have a seconder? Councillor Leone. Right. Thank you, Todd. All those in favour?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Perfect. Thank you. Now we have item 11. Craig. And Celia. Thank you. You just want to introduce yourself as well, Celia.
Oh, Celia Davison, I'm the manager of the Central South team in Plans and Places.
Thank you, all good? Yes, thank you,
you,
Mr.
Greg.
Chair. So my item is around the end of process of private plan changes 48, 49, 50, 51 and 61 in Drury, commonly known as the Drury private plan changes. So the purpose of the item before you today is to make plan change 48, which is the Drury Centre Precinct, 49, which is the Drury East Precinct, at the Waihoehoe Precinct, plan change 50, and also to direct a variation to vary plan change 78 to enable the relevant residential zones within the area covered by changes 49 and 50. Todd described the process for his item just before in terms of variations on, variations off, in order to get to an ending of the process, and the same can be said to apply to 49 and 50. Carrying on, the purpose is also to make the remainder of plan change 51, the Drury 2 precinct, and the remainder of plan change 61, Waipupuke, operative. Both of those being operative in full after being part operative for a while now, since sort of the middle of last year. The dates are on there. And it has been, all of those plan changes have been through the hearing process and also the appeal process, and resolution reached in terms of the plan changes with a consent order issued in November regarding the outstanding matters. After much resolution work with the applicants and the appellants who ended up obviously appealing one or two of the plan changes, and then issues which carried over Section 274 parties and others involved in the process. Useful for me to just talk to the slide for a moment so you can see where the plan changes are relative to each other, and you've heard a little bit from me already about what they comprise, and you recognise the names. PC 48 being, if you like, the central one around Drury Central, and the Kiwi plan change, if you like, and the others as referenced in the report. PC 61 was the most recent one, being the Waipupuke one to the west, which initially was actually turned down, but through resolving the outstanding, resolving matters, we got to a point of making it part operative, and we'd been back through, as was the planning committee at the time, to get to that state. There was outstanding issues around noise mitigation, and getting the provisions right was a matter of discussion and caucusing, and ultimately resolution with the parties concerned, Auckland Transport, NZTA, and others, to the point where the Judge Smith provided a consent order to say, yes, you may proceed making these operative. So just move on to the next slide, please, Sandra. Yes, so a little bit more further detail in terms of plan change 48, the Kiwi one, just describing the zones there for reference, and you've got a metropolitan centre zone, you've got mixed use zone to the rear, and you've got some open space between there and the motorway, if you like, to the west of the metropolitan centre zone. Council decision was appealed to by 4 parties, including Auckland Council, and was recently settled by consent order. So that was plan change 48. Oh,
No, it didn't.
operator error. 49, go back.
Oh, 49?
49, yeah, okay, so the Drury East Precinct, Fulton Hogan, just behind 48, if you like, to the southeast, which sought to rezone about 184 hectares of future urban zone land, combination, terraced housing and apartment zone, mixed housing urban, mixed housing suburban neighbourhood centre. Decision to approve came out in May of this year, was appealed by 3 parties in this case, including Auckland Council as a submitter, and again was recently settled by consent order. Next one, so 50, yes, to the north of Waihoehoe Road, which is in central Drury as well, or at least the start of it is. Plan change 50, promulgated by Oyster Capital, which sought to rezone approximately 48.9 hectares future urban zone land located to the north of Waihoehoe Road. Decision to approve came out from the commissioners around about May, and we've worked through the appeals. As referenced there was a case. And again, part of that consent order that was issued in November by Judge Smith. Next one, please. 51, Charles Ma, or the Maid Group, in Drury West, on the other side of the motorway. And this is comprising a business town centre zone, and some terrace housing, apartment and MHU, medium housing. The council decision was to approve, which came out a wee bit earlier in February 22, and the council decision was indeed appealed, but again recently settled. So there's been quite a bit of work done to settle the outstanding matters. Next one. And the last one there is Waipupuke Precinct, the far west, if you like, in terms of the plan change groups in Drury. Decision initially to decline back in December last year, around about now, and whilst it declined the plan change, the decision clearly set out what would be needed in order to be changed in the precinct provisions if plan change 61 were to be approved. And so council's decision was appealed to the Environment Court by the applicants, by Lomai Properties, and again was recently settled in totality by way of consent order. And that's the slides. And I think I'm happy to take any questions, but I think much of what we're seeking has been covered, which is to make the plan changes operative, having gone through due process to get to this point.
Yeah, thank you very much to the both of you. Is there any brief questions on the process? No? Perfect. We have a mover in Councillor Baker and seconder Deputy Chair Dalton. Any debate? No? Perfect. All those in favour?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Councillor Walker wants his name recorded against. Any abstentions? Perfect, thank you. That is carried. Awesome, so we are on to the next one, getting through them now. Item 12. Or just your microphone, Celia, thank you.
Plan change 63. This is in the Mount Albert Town Centre area. That's the area that's the subject of the plan change. It's Tramco land, and they applied to increase the height from 18 metres, which is the height of the maximum permitted height within the town centre, from 18 to 24 metres. So that was approved, and there were no appeals, so now it can be made operative. The next one, which is plan change 64. Anyway, 64 is actually just one site. Can you see that one?
They're two different items, so do we just
they're
want
two different items. Oh, so do you want to do the first, okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, so it's to make this one operative.
Cool. Thank you, very straightforward. Once again, making plan change 63 operative. Do I have any questions? Oh, you have a mover? Councillor Stewart? No? Oh, right, sorry. All good. Do I have a mover? Oh, Deputy Chair, seconder. Councillor Filipina to second. All those, are there any debating points? No? Perfect. All those in favour? Aye. Anyone opposed? Perfect, that is carried. Now to item 13. We've got the slide up there.
So it's this plan change is to the pink piece of land which is outlined in blue, and the plan change was requesting a change in zoning from town centre to mixed use zone. So that's again, it's Tramco land. This was approved and there were no appeals. So we can make it operative now.
Thank you, Celia. Are there any questions on this one? No. Could I have a mover? Councillor Ferry. Seconder, Councillor Darby. Any debate? No. All those in favour? Aye. Anyone opposed? No. Any abstentions? Thank you. Thank you both for very efficient decision making there.